right, so we are here with Ernie for our episode of Wool Socks Real People. He is a newly found wool addict, and we're going to talk to Ernie about what socks he loves. And we actually joke in the household that you're a wool addict about the socks. So it's an ongoing joke. So Ernie's going to tell us why he loves the socks and what he does for a living, and then how we know each other. So Ernie, what is your favorite wool sock?
Man, I don't know if I have a specific favorite one. Probably fiber-wise, my favorite fiber is alpaca. But I just like how soft it is. But I find that the wool socks they wear longer than the alpaca fiber does. But yeah, I think, in the beginning, all you guys offered were the regular, the longer ones, maybe the crew socks. Yep. And, I met John then 7 years ago through a mutual group of friends. And I don't know how it came about. He's like, here, try these. And I'm like, wool? What are you talking about, wool? And he's like, no, it's going to be the greatest thing ever. And I was pretty standoffish, but I tried them, and I'm like, oh my. And the biggest thing that I can say is wearing cotton socks, they feel like they're stuck to your feet, and you don't even know how that has been a feeling until you tried something different. And when I wore wool socks, and they're not really thick, they're just like a regular kind of sock, they're not like most people think of wool socks, like these big terry socks, big massive things you go hunting with, and that's not what they are. Sure. And I mean, and from that point, it was just like, I don't know how to explain it. My feet just felt amazing. And, I kind of would go back and forth because I only had a couple pairs, and then it just slowly went to, all right. But your original pair of socks that you guys made, they didn't have as much nylon, and I was really like, oh gosh, this nylon thing, man. I'm like, no, I just want pure natural fiber, man. Just give me the natural stuff. Well, here was the problem, is the natural ones, I wore them out because I wear them every single day. And I was pretty sad that when summertime would come, because I'd have to wear my ankle cotton socks, and it was just like straight torture. But then this last year, you guys came out with the ankle socks, and now I'm just in heaven because I can wear them all the time. But yeah, cool. I just don't. That's all I wear all the time, year round now. So,
yeah. So I have to ask you.
I do have some.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I have to ask you. So the properties of wool socks, a lot of people do not realize that. So I'm going to ask you, are they itchy? People think they're itchy.
No, not at all. It's hard to explain. I guess, so when you first get a brand new pair, because of the way that the fibers lay in the sock, from my experience, they might feel a little uncomfortable, but the more you wear them, the more they just kind of get even more super comfy. So I won't say that in the very beginning, but I'm telling you, you got to put them on, you got to try them, and you got to give them a good run. Don't let anything that you might think, or it's like this, don't have an opinion about something you never tried. It's really that simple. You got to set all that stuff aside, and you got to do it, because that's all I wear. I'm not kidding you. It's 90 degrees outside, and I got a pair of wool ankle socks on. I mean, it's just the way it is. And I'm telling you, my feet stay so amazing. It's like, everybody's feet sweat in the summer, period. But when you wear these wool socks, it keeps all the sweat and sticky goo away from your feet.
Yes, that was my next thing to ask you, was how was your foot feeling after wearing them on those hot summer days? Because that's another property, is that it's moisture wicking. So we get into each, on each video that I'm doing this, and people just are naturally talking about it. I think it's really great. So that was my next question, was the moisture wicking, was it itchy? And then, obviously this is a really weird question, and every time I ask it, we giggle a little bit, but what about the smell of your feet?
I've never had a foot odor issue. And, my wife always teased me about, how are your feet so soft and how are they so smooth? It's like, well, they're not plastered in nasty, ooey gooey, wet cotton socks. I mean, those things are disgusting. They are, because all they do is just hold moisture, stick to your feet. It's just, I'm telling you, man, this is the way. I mean, that's just how it goes. And, it's interesting. So, I experienced this wool thing on my socks, and gosh, man, wool mattress pad, wool pillow, wool comforter. I mean, I literally wrap myself in wool when I go to sleep, because this is the key, is it's perfect climate control.
That's right.
I don't care what it is. If it's 100 degrees outside, you know what? It's going to be what my body temperature is, because the fiber separates and allows all the air to just be very natural. Like, I go to a hotel and I sleep on cotton sheets and that. I mean, literally, I'm just like tossing and turning because I feel wrapped up in this little hot little discomfort. I mean, I'd rather just throw all the covers off and not have covers than put a regular cotton. It's just not the way.
And John is the person that when we're on the road, he has to take his comforter and pillows. And I know one time we have taken our mattress pad, and I have to say that, I love him so much, but it is a little bit too much. Like, we're grabbing the cart, and not only do we have the big suitcases, but we have all this bedding, and the people are looking at us like, what's going on here?
That is awesome.
I just, gotten used to it now because of how much traveling we do. But yeah, it is funny how you get totally addicted to it. And of course, we sleep with ours all year round too. And it's just, you're finding like more and more people are loving it. And I love that, all the benefits. And it sounds like you've totally done some research on it a little bit, as you've we've given you more things, or you've tried more things, which is really cool. So the next thing that I'll get into, you said you wear them all the time. So in your career, first of all, what do you do for a living? I like to go into that.
I'm an appliance repairman. So, I'm on my feet all day long. But I got to say, probably the biggest benefit that I've experienced in this last year, I compete in competition shooting. And the range, there's a lot of sand, and you run around and it gets inside your shoes, and it just makes, when you get done at the end of the day, I bring my flip flops, because I literally just can't wait to peel them nasty socks and all that gravel stuck to my feet. And this year you guys came out with the ankle socks. So this was the first year I was actually able to wear my alpaca ankle socks on the range, and it was fabulous. Because what happened is the different pieces of sand and stuff, I didn't even know they were there, because they would fit inside the fiber, and because the cotton wasn't pressed up against my feet, I didn't feel them grinding in the bottom of my feet. So that was probably the greatest thing you guys produced this year were them ankle socks. I'm telling you,
I know,
it made my life amazing.
That's great. We need to knit some more of those, because we're running really low. And the last batch that I had knit, I had knit the wrong top color, and they're really strange looking. So if you don't care about color, we definitely have some, but you obviously want to wear a sock that's pretty attractive. So we do have some, but I need to knit some more black and gray ones like we had, because those are really attractive. But I totally love that you said that about the shooting, because I forgot about that, about you doing that. And I always told John, I can just picture him out there just moving around. And I just like totally want to see it sometime because it sounds so interesting. You know, it's just different from, I've never seen anything like that. So I'm always interested in learning new things and seeing people do things like that. So I think it's really neat. And then I heard that like you go down to Florida sometimes and do that, or like warmer locations. So, you know, I'm always down for doing that, going there instead of being here.
It's just another one of those situations where, you know, it's 90 degrees outside, right? 90 degrees. I have alpaca socks on, and here I am running around 90 degrees, and my feet are just feel amazing.
I know. I wear them when we go to shows, like when we're doing shows and we're setting up. It's like, you know, the booth setup when we're selling the product, it takes me a long time to set them up. So I wear my socks when I'm doing it. I wear them all the time, obviously, but I notice the most, like you said, when you're on your feet a lot, it isn't so much, you know, that your feet are sore. And then I have really nice feet too. They're really soft, which is a big change, you know, for being on your feet a lot and stuff. So it's kind of strange.
You know, Melissa was totally against this, and this summer we started running 3 times a week together.
Yeah.
And she was wearing her socks, and I can't remember what the conversation was, and I'm like, here, just put these on and try. Oh, they're going to be so uncomfortable. And she got what it was is she got a new pair of shoes. So in her new pair of shoes, like everybody knows, they got to break in. So they kind of like hit the spots and whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm telling you right now, you wear these wool socks while you're breaking in your shoes, you're not going to have the problem. No hot spots. I mean, she's like, no. Yeah, well, she wore them and she liked them, and she wears them when she runs now.
That's good. That's so good. I love it. I love it. And I love that you've become a total wool addict. You know, that's, of course, what we love. And we would want every customer to do that. But, you know, I don't know if you need to make some sales calls for me or what. I don't know.
You know, it's interesting. You know, all these people pay this money for, you know, organic food and all these different things for quality of life. I mean, heck, people pay $3,000 for a mattress so they can sleep better, right? I mean, we look at a mattress pad. I mean, you don't even need to spend $3,000. You can buy a mattress pad and throw it on your bed, and I will guarantee you your sleep it'll be better. Guaranteed, no matter what. And you know, it's not a lot of money, right?
No.
Look at it. How many pair of cotton socks does somebody buy? I was buying cotton socks every single year. And now that you guys changed how your process was and you added a little more nylon to the fabric, they last longer, and they also fit better. My original ones, you know, up at the top, even though they were more natural fiber, you know, they would get a little stretched out at the top and they wouldn't sit right. But the new ones, man, I mean, I got my alpaca one. It's Friday, so I wear my special ones on Friday. I don't have too many alpaca ones, and I'm careful on the alpaca fiber too, how much I wash them and stuff like that, because they just don't hold up as well as the wool in my experience. But yeah, it's not a lot of money, and what you get out of it is amazing. I mean, think about it. If you work and you live life, you're on your feet all day long.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it is a little bit of an investment, but they last, and you would most likely be buying those cotton all the time instead of just buying the wool. So
yeah, because they wear out no matter what.
Yes.
You know?
Agreed. So the next question for you, and we'll get into how we know each other, because I do that with every person on the video. So how we know each other is you're my husband's very best friend. And the one thing that I will tell you is that when he's on the phone and he is laughing really loud, it's most likely with you. I have to say, he does laugh too with Greg a lot, Greg Raleigh, but I know that it's either you or Greg that is on the phone with him. So I think it's my husband's like a really good friend person. He's always on the phone with somebody, right?
Yeah.
He loves to talk. He loves to call people and check in. He's such a good friend. So, do you have anything to say about my husband and your guys' friendship? Because it's been 7 years then.
I think the common thing that we have is we both were raised in a family business, and I believe our fathers had a lot in common. So what happens is it's not too often in our conversations we have a moment to where it's like, I think your dad would have really liked this joke or something like, and then he would come back and say the same. So I think that's probably the biggest common thing. We were raised in family business, and I think today to find two people that have had such a similar upbringing, I think that's one of the major common threads, and it's good because with circumstances in John's life with his father in the last year, it's actually been over a year now. It's been good because I think to be able to laugh and remember the good things and carry on the legacy of our father is a big deal. And we find a lot of, we cry about it and then we laugh about it. And all in the same conversation.
Yes. And I didn't know if you knew this, but my dad was an entrepreneur as well. Well, not only did he work a regular job, but he had his own lawn service. And so like in a given week, he'd be doing like 40 to 45 lawns at one time, I think. And he had a couple employees, and I actually was cutting lawns too, like at a young age, but I was pretty over that in a couple years. So, I worked with my dad, and it was challenging. He was a perfectionist, so that was, you got to be when you're cutting the lawn, right? You got to have perfect lines and everything if you're doing it for somebody else and they're paying you. Yeah. So we talk about his dad and the way that he was at the business, and he was a little bit of a perfectionist as well. Was your dad a perfectionist in his business?
Oh man, his biggest thing was the customer was always right, and he always went the extra mile. Still to this day, he calls people back at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night to help them answer any questions and take care of whatever he needs to do, because sometimes it's like right now he's very involved in the community. Mm-hmm. So he sits on the board of health, he sits on the board at the airport, he's a county commissioner. So throughout the day he's doing a lot more than what he would have been involved with the company, and he's not let that go to this day. He still, when he gets home, he pulls out his messages and starts calling people back.
Cool. So very cool.
I think it's more of he cares.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that you guys laugh like two children sometimes. I think it's really I think it's really cute. And I just say he must be talking to Ernie or Greg. Lately he's been laughing a lot with Greg, which is really good too, because seeing our friends has been a little, we just saw you last weekend when you dropped off your fabric for your wool comforter, but him not being able to see his friends and making that connection, I think it's a little bit hard on John, because he is totally a friend and people person, and I'm a little bit of an introvert. Like, I like to connect with people, but I'm like really good with being at home. So two total opposites, but I love it. I love that you guys laugh that much and that you had that connection and that you're talking a lot, because that keeps his spirit up, and he totally loves that about you, that you laugh and stuff. So I think I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else you want to share?
No, I do. So, little note on the comforter. It's not just a comforter.
Yeah.
It's a custom wool comforter. And I think that's really cool because, you get to pick out your own fabric. You get to say, hey, this is the size that I want. It's not just some you know, hey, this is what we offer. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that's a huge thing today. And I don't know how your industry works, but for me, I find that to be very unique. You know, the customer comes in and says, you know, this is what I'm looking for. Oh, well, what size would you like? Well, here, this is how you can measure. And then once I give you the size, you guys said, well, okay, well, if you want two-tone, well, then you're going to need to get this much and then add this much to it. And, you know, I think that really makes something very special and very unique, not only for the service, but then for the customer as well.
Yeah, I had a lady call yesterday, I think it was yesterday. I was actually at home, and our phone calls can go to our cell phones if we're not in the office. We have that Find Me, Follow Me feature. And so I got a phone call on my phone, and I thought, I better get this because I know that there was a lady waiting for an answer on some wool. So I answered it, and she's like, I just wanted to know if you were open today because I want you to make me some covers for my dining room chairs. I want to bring in the fabric, and I want to have them stuffed with wool, and I want to have you guys make them, so I'm going to bring it in. So it's not like only stuff like that, like doing the comforters, you know, for you guys and the certain measurement that you needed for your bed. We do that type of stuff too. So she was so excited that we were open.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you go ahead and go in there. I won't be there, but you know, she can come in and talk to somebody and do like the face-to-face, like what we can do. And so that's kind of cool.
It's good. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's the beauty of small business, right?
That's right.